Why am I so nervous? I guess it's been a minute since I've been on camera, but here we are. Take. Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Vinci and welcome back to my channel, to more content that nobody asked for. As you will have read by the title, this is not your regularly scheduled programming, but then again, there is no such thing on this channel as we've well established. So yeah, there's no other way to put it. I'm making a frame. Like, I'm DIYing a frame that's not just for a photo, but it's actually for a scarf, because I figure if Hermes can do it, if a full-blown fashion house can do it, then I can totally DIY this at home for myself for my own personal scarf displays. You're probably wondering, Vinci, why don't you just buy a frame that fits the scarf? Why don't you just save yourself all the trouble from the DIY, from the hassle, etc., etc.? Short answer, your girl doesn't have the budget for a custom-made frame. The long answer is kind of a long answer. Mid to end of last year, I wasn't feeling too great about myself. I wasn't in the greatest place mentally, and then I tried to find a way or an outlet to really let myself be expressed. In finding that outlet, I decided to make this bad boy right here. This is my Do It For Her mirror, inspired by none other than The Simpsons. If you have any pop culture knowledge at all, you'll know that this is obviously based off of the mural that Homer Simpson has in the nuclear power plant, where instead of these squares, he has pictures of Maggie, basically to serve as a motivation for him to keep on keeping on, to do it for her, to do it for his daughter. Instead of having pictures of myself, which was, you know, a tiny bit too vain, I put in mirror squares so that every time that I'm kind of feeling low, or even if I'm just passing by, I can look at this and think, like, see myself in the mirror and be like, do it for her, you know? Do it for her, do it for the girl that I'm gonna be, the girl that I am, so on and so forth. It's self-care, self-care 101. I made that mirror, and I guess that kind of triggered the DIY side of me coming to life. And here we are, we're going to make a frame. In saying all of that, you're probably wondering why I'm framing a scarf to begin with, because it's a scarf, it's not even a branded scarf. But basically what happened was I was out shopping for something or other, and I saw this scarf that I had only seen online and I really like the design of, but I'm one of those people who needs to physically see the product before I buy it. I know I'm annoying, but I saw this in store and I thought, it's a sign, I have to get it. Like, it's right here in front of me. What am I gonna do? Not buy it? Plus it was on sale, so two birds, one stone. So I bought it, and then I realized that A, I'm not a very avid scarf wearer, and B, I live in Australia where it is a crisp and steady 20 degrees minimum in winter. So this scarf is not gonna get worn. And even if I did wear it, I figured it would obscure the design of it, which is why I really was drawn to it in the first place. So I figured, how am I gonna really showcase the reason why I actually liked this scarf? What better way than to frame it up? A few disclaimers to get out of the way though. Number one, I am absolutely not a professional. Take everything I do in this video with a grain of salt, because it's all trial and error. It is all hoping for the best. And if you are 18 or under, do not do anything that I have done in this video without adult supervision, because quite frankly, I should not be doing this stuff without adult supervision, and I'm an adult myself. And number two, this video is obviously not sponsored whatsoever. None of the places where I get the materials or tools, etc., from have any promotion in this video, but you know, I'm always open to it. And yeah, let's just get started. We're making a frame today, this week, this video. Let's not get too ambitious. I've already drawn up like schematics. I've got a couple pieces of wood ready. I don't actually have the tools to start constructing or sawing it up today, just because I'm borrowing the tools from a friend. But for now, I'm gonna show you guys how I got to the point that I'm at now, which is basically all of the planning that I've done so far. This is a whole lot of math that honestly made my head hurt trying to think about it in a 3D way, because I'm not very math oriented. But we got there. We have these planned out. I made it a little bit neater and tidier so that it's much easier to see as well. So this makes my head hurt a little less, but it's still just as concise. So like I mentioned before, I don't actually have the tools to get started on like constructing and sawing stuff up today, because my friend is letting me borrow his tools, And then another friend is going to pick them up and drop them off at my place tonight. So it's a whole delivery fiasco, as if we don't have enough of that already. But what I do have are the few pieces of wood that I already bought the other day at the warehouse, plus the measurements that I made up. And I'm just gonna get started on measuring stuff up, so at least I have that ready to go as soon as the tools get here, and then I can get started on sewing stuff up. So let's go do that. Also, another disclaimer that I probably should have mentioned earlier is that this is not gonna be like a DIY step-by-step tutorial by any means. So if that's what you were looking for, I'm sorry, probably click away. This is literally all trial and error, hoping for the best. And seeing how that goes. So a couple of things I'm going to be needing right now just to measure everything out and get started. Obviously a measuring tape is going to be useful. She's measuring, she needs it. And then I'm just going to make those markings with a pencil because it's easy to erase even if I'm like slightly off. I can just rub it out and then redraw the line there. And as you can see on this pencil, it actually says friends 1 to 3 is sufficient, which no, it is not my life mantra, although it is somewhat relevant. It's actually a Ron Swanson quote from Parks and Rec. My friend got me a whole set of Parks and Rec pencils when she was in NBC Studios a few years back in New York. But this one here, a Ron Swanson quote, I feel like he'd be proud of me today for the woodworking project that I'm about to take on. So let's do it, let's get measuring. You guys are probably wondering, why are you doing this in your garage floor? Short answer, I don't have a woodworking station, bench, whatever you want to call it, because quite frankly this is just a hobby, not one that I'm like super invested in or anything. That's why I'm borrowing tools from a friend who actually is super invested in this stuff. But this is just a fun time, and I guess if I happen to want to do more DIY things, then I'll invest a bit more into it. But for now, garage floor for a little project, I'm not too mad at it. Gets the job done. But I think that's it. I think we're all measured up now. So you can't really see it because they're all drawn in pencil. But I think you can just make out those little fine lines there. They line up really nicely. The actual frame piece of wood itself is a little bit longer than it's measured to be. So that threw me off a little bit, freaked me out, got the math sweats a little bit. But they're all measured out. So now we just got to wait for the tools to arrive tonight and we can get started on making this thing happen. I'm very excited.
3 hours later.
It's windy as hell outside right now. So apologize for any wind noise in advance, but look what we have here. Tools acquired. Thank you so much to my friends for passing this one on to me. You know who you are. And like I was saying before, how I was absolutely lying through my teeth about how I don't have a workstation or like a workbench. I think I might just use this blue boy here that we keep out in the garden. It's already pretty beat up, but it's still sturdy, still good for use. So I'm probably gonna kill 2 birds, 1 stone. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. We are recycling, that's how we do it. We have finally reached the time of day that it's socially acceptable to start soaring. It looks like it's holding pretty well. All right, let's have a little chit chat while we wait, shall we?